So Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead was a huge overnight success. The question is, how does it hold up today? I'm going to answer that for you here in just a sec. Welcome to Dom's Corner, everybody. I am your host, Dom Martino, and today we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, not to be confused with George A. Romero's classic Dawn of the Dead, even though this film is based on that. There's a lot of great things about this movie that I cannot wait to get into with you guys today, and this is going to be non-spoiler for the beginning, but then I'll get into some spoilers a little bit later. Alright, so Zack Snyder was, such a new director coming into this. I believe this is his first full feature, so it was really interesting to kind of go back and look at how he started, seeing everything that's gone on with Zack Snyder today, whether we're talking about Sucker Punch 300, Batman v Superman, or most recently Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is his definitive version of that film. So revisiting Dawn of the Dead, which is a film I haven't seen in years, was such a great experience because it was just kind of seeing the roots of a filmmaker that I love today, and also seeing the different techniques that he used to bring this film to the success that it had, which was again a huge cult following at its time. And I think that this film is actually one of Zack Snyder's best overall, in terms of the way that he builds tension and the way that he built character and the shots that he used, and the fact that he kind of put a new spin on a remake that could have been verbatim, but he decided to do a lot of different things. Now, one of the similarities between this and the George A. Romero version is the mall, the fact that he used the mall as kind of a setting, and I like the way that Zack Snyder utilized the mall here, because he kind of really makes it fun in a way. In a weird way, he does. He kind of takes it and he makes it like if you had to be locked up in quarantine because of a zombie apocalypse, wouldn't you want to be in a mall? And the answer to that is yes. I mean, the mall feels very much like a place you would want to be during this time. I mean, the reason to me that the mall is so cool is because of all the different resources that are used within it, and it's just a wonderful setting for this film. And to put our group of characters and puts them into position to where they have to get to know each other, and that's how the characters build throughout the film. But I love this movie for so many different reasons. Again, the shots are just really great. You could tell Snyder really knew what he was doing behind the camera just from the very beginning, so that was really great to see. I really enjoyed a lot of the cast for the most part. I think the weak spot here is definitely Sarah Pauli's character. She definitely didn't really bring a lot to the table, which is kind of bad because she is kind of the lead. Like, we open with her and the movie sets her up to be the lead, and it's great to see like a female lead in one of these, but I just didn't think Sarah Pauli really brought much to it. But I think the rest of the cast is strong enough that it holds the movie up, and the character building itself is pretty good. So, I mean, we spend most of the movie, building characters. The movie itself was a little bit worse than, I remembered it being, but still, again, extremely great. It's definitely one of Snyder's better films for sure. 100% hands down. I love most of his movies myself. I know a lot of people would disagree with me on that, but this one is just really cool. It's got this real raw feeling to it, real gritty feeling to it, and I like how the film just really takes its time to build into what essentially becomes a zombie action film, and that becomes a lot of fun because we're watching characters that we were able to get to know, and we feel the tension when the stakes are high. So that's really one of the benefits to this film right here. A lot of people I know are like really divided on the ending for the most part, and to me, I like this ending. I think it's good. I think it really like leaves an impact after you walk out of it. But I've heard some division on the ending to this one, and I know that's where people kind of had mixed feelings toward it. But I think part of the reason that the film became such a hit is because of the ending itself. I think the ending actually leaves that lasting impact, and I feel like if it ended any other way, we wouldn't have spent as much time talking about it and thinking about it as we have for so many years, and it just really still holds up, even though the film, again, is a little bit worse than I remembered it being, but not a bad movie. It's a really great movie. I definitely recommend picking it up for sure if you haven't already. I watched it on Blu-ray today for the first time, and so that was a really cool experience. It really held up very well. Obviously, I did watch this to prep for Army of the Dead, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which comes out tomorrow. I'm super excited for that, and I know it's been in theaters a little bit, but Netflix has it tomorrow, and I'm super excited to watch that, review that. So that is a lot of the reason that I watched this today, is to prep for that. And I don't know if this Army of the Dead is going to take place in the same universe. It doesn't necessarily look like it, but that's something I did want to talk about, though, is world building in this film, because one of the things that I loved about this film is that Snyder decides to show the worldwide implications of the zombie apocalypse while focusing in on this one group and making them the most important piece. There's moments where characters will watch things on the news and you can see like how everything's going across the world, and there's like archival type footage and things like that, or not actual archival footage, but you get my point, like how filmmakers will like to incorporate archival footage. Snyder kind of does the same here, but he kind of made his own archival footage. So really dug that about this film for sure. Dawn of the Dead is super great, guys. I mean, I highly recommend it. There's not a whole lot more I could say about it on the non-spoiler side of things, but on the spoiler side of things, I'm going to get into that now. If you've seen the movie already, I'm just going to kind of get into some of the highlights. I don't really have a lot of negatives on the spoiler side of things. This movie is almost done perfectly, except for the 1 week casting choice. So for the most part, I really do love the film overall. So now I'm going to get into some spoilers and talk about some highlights that I just freaking loved. So I'll do that now. Some spoilery highlights that I wanted to talk about here today, I mean, definitely include number one, I believe the character's name was John. Was it Frank? Was it John? When the dad had to be shot and we felt the emotions, there was like, oh my God, because that was the moment that I realized this film is gonna be like, it's real, you know what I mean? It's not half-assed, it's not run-of-the-mill. He definitely wanted to show like real strong character moments, and that's part of like the magic of it to me. It's a little bit in the same vein of George A. Romero in that way. So I like that he kind of continued that trend and made this one of the better zombie flicks that we'd ever seen. Another one of my favorite moments is the humor in this film. It's placed in there in very smart ways and at very good times. So I enjoyed that a lot, especially when we're talking about when they have this communication with the guy on the roof. Everybody knows Andy, who's alone, and I thought that stuff was pretty funny. And when they were, putting up signs to be like, all right, now get Jay Leno, and he would shoot Jay Leno, and then they would say, get Burt Reynolds, and he'd shoot the zombie that looked like Burt Reynolds. I mean, obviously they weren't the real celebrities. I just thought that stuff was really, really great. I also really like the security guards who kind of come in and, infiltrate this whole plan and ruin it. And then I like how that story twists to where they, end up locking up the security guards. I thought it was a really cool kind of bait and switch there in the middle, and it just definitely gave a lot more focus to the core group again. And then the way that they did that, but then they had the security guards come in and play an important role later, thought was really cool. And I like the fact that these security guards they love mall security so much that they'll do anything to just keep the mall safe, and they don't like intruders at all, but they are massive jerks. And that definitely is something that Zack Snyder wanted to get across and did very well and casted that very well, and that stuff was really, really fun to see. So I enjoyed that a lot, and I like that when there's new characters coming in, obviously when the truck comes in and starts starts hitting those zombies, which, by the way, the kills are one of the highlights here in this film. But when the truck's coming in and it hits those zombies, and we get some new characters added, it feels like the new characters are added there for a reason. It doesn't feel like we're just adding characters just to add people, and that's something that's a danger to a film like this, where you have a core group that you've already kind of liked, and then, you know, somewhere down the line we want to add more people to it. You want to make these characters at least somewhat charismatic in the way that we enjoy watching them, and I think that Snyder did that extremely well also, so I like that a lot. So yeah, guys, Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, if you have not seen it, it's definitely a must watch. Highly recommend it. Check it out. It's one of the best zombie films out there, in all honesty, and he just, oh gosh, I love this movie so much, and I'm so glad I got to revisit it again. Yeah, guys, so that is the review of Dawn of the Dead upon a revisit. Cannot wait to get to Army of the Dead tomorrow. Real quick before we go here, we do have merch on the Anorax Entertainment Stream Elements site. You can go to merch.streamelements.com/Anorax, and you can find it all there. A lot of cool stuff over there, so check it out for sure. Also, if you have not downloaded Stereo, I highly recommend doing that. I myself and Sammy Ramirez have been doing some shows over there. That's at Don Martino and at Sammy Ramirez, so definitely check us out there as well. Much appreciated, and that's a way for us to communicate with you guys. You guys can call in, and it's pretty cool. We can hear your messages, and that's been a wonderful way to communicate, so please do that as well. Also, if you haven't done so already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit that bell for notifications. Check out the other shows that we have on here, Movie Night and the Anorax Entertainment Podcast, hosted by myself. So that should be some extra incentive for the subscribers. I hope you guys can check it out for sure. Let me know in the comment section what you think of Dawn of the Dead, if you plan on checking out Army of the Dead. And without further ado, I've been Don Martino, and I hope you guys have a great night. Later.